Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crochet by Katie Humes. Today for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the eyebrows for the Beastie Beanie and the hair. So this is what I did. You can totally use different methods if you have different style in mind. So what I want to show you, but my son, he says my favorite part of the beanie is the curly Q hairs, and so for the original one, I used brown yarn, yellow yarn, and orange yarn for the hair. And then I went ahead and did the eyebrows, and I will show you how to do these eyebrows. I gave him a unibrow. I don't think I'm going to go for a unibrow with the one that we're working on right now. So I'm really excited to get started with this. For today, for the tutorial, what we're going to be using is, I'll move this so we can get a nice clear shot, is a J crochet hook, which is what I used to do the beanie portion. I used a 5mm for the eyes on the blue one, but for this green one I used a 6mm for everything. So for this one I used the 6mm hook for everything, but for this blue one, for these smaller details, I used a 5mm for these. But today I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the 6mm J hook for the hair. My reasoning for that is I kind of want the hair to be thick, just like these ones turned out nice and thick. So I don't know if the 5mm would give me that same effect. So I'm just going to stick with the J, 6mm. You also will need some scissors and a yarn needle. I have two different sizes here, a small one and a large one. We will be using the large one for sure for the eyebrow. I'm not sure if we're going to use the small one or not, but I just like to throw it in there. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Also going to be using 3 different colors of yarn. I just liked having a lot of different colors for the hair. I just thought it was fun. So I do not have my wrappers for this anymore, but I have a bright neon green, a forest green, it's kind of a darker forest green, and a grungy green. Kind of reminds me of, it would match like camo for anyone doing hunting or fishing. Camouflage. Alright, so those are the 3 colors I'm going to be using for the hair for this guy. I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. The eyebrow. I don't want to do a unibrow on this guy. I think he needs 2 eyebrows. So for the eyebrow, what we will do is we will take each 3 colors of our yarn and thread it onto this. And this is why I like the bigger yarn needle. I can thread all 3 of them at the same time. Really nice and convenient. Okay, I'm going to leave about 6 inches. I'm trying to get better at my gauges. Let's see if I was right. Woohoo! 5.5 inches. 5.5 to 6 inches on this side. And all I'm going to do is go up in through my beanie, and I'm just going to eyeball it. Where do I want this eyebrow to be? I kind of want to start right here on this stitch, like in the middle of that stitch. And I'm going to pull a nice long amount out. And then I'm going to go down in right above the eye so it's kind of close to the eye. And that is how I make the eyebrows. Just going back and forth like that. So double check and make sure you're not getting any knots in here. Now I'm going to go back up right there, right next to it. And pull it nice and tight. Again, double check and make sure that your work is not getting knotted up. See that green piece right there? It's already starting to, so you can either pull on this side or this side. And now go right back down very close to that first one. And you can leave it a little bit loose. You want it pretty tight, but so that it's kind of puffy. See how this one is puffy? So I'm coming up to the end, and I think I'm going to finish it right here. I don't want it to be unibrow, so I'm going to leave about a finger space right here in between. And I'm going to give it one more stitch. As I was going along, I didn't even realize I was doing it, but it's very helpful. So I had, these are the other tail. These are coming out. I don't know if I can show you. These are coming out of the yarn over there. Kind of a mess actually. So it's coming out from over there. All three of these strands. Anyway, well, let's line you back up. So as I was going, I was holding on to this strand with this hand so that it wouldn't get tangled when I was going down and in. And as I was doing that, since I was holding this and pinching the beanie, it ended up sewing over it, so it's ending at the same spot, which is actually very awesome. So it was an accident that I did it, but it is going to work out to my benefit because we can tie it off right here, and it won't I won't have to like sew it through. So if you, sorry if you've already started on this, but on your second one if you hold this tight, and it'll sew around it for you, and that way you won't have to sew it in, and you can just have it right there where you need to tie it off. Alright, so I'm going to go back in one more time, and I really want it to be, I feel like I'm getting too far over, so I'm going to actually go back up here. I don't want it to be a unibrow, I want it to be two eyebrows. Oh look, on my last stitch it's going to knot up. There we go. Yeah, I think I like that. It kind of makes it thicker too if you go over it twice. See how it's a little thicker there now? And I am going to go over this one more time because look at this little piece of yarn. I'm not going to touch it because I tucked it in. So if you need to like rearrange, if you are thinking, oh, I need to have more neon right here, just slide your, right here I would like to have more neon, slide your yarn needle behind there and pull it out. You can kind of manipulate it how you want it to look. So I can pull out some more neon right there. I don't know why the neon is hiding so much. Okay, I'm going to give it one more stitch. I know I said that other one was my last one, but I'm going to cover that dude up because it's kind of not doing what I want it to do. So we're just going to cover him up. That way he's hidden. And we won't have to deal with it. Alright, but now I feel like there's too much neon right there, so I'm going to grab some more of this guy, the darker green. Alright, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut that and tie it off. I'm just going to tie all 6 strands together. So I'm going to leave somewhat of a long... Alright, so I'm just going to tie them all 3 like this. I think a double knot will work just fine. And now, so that these aren't tickling the child's face or poking out of the beanie, we're going to sew them back in and trim them. So, like I was saying, if you need to hide these, go ahead and do it. If you needed to hide the other one or come out to where you could tie it off, just go right behind the eyebrow. That's not the greatest job, but this is the inside of the beanie. I guess I should worry about inside and outside, how it looks. It's functional. Alright, so I'm going to do that with these strings, and I will meet you back in just a minute. In order to get my eyebrows to line up, I'm going to follow this row across. So this is the row. It's kind of hard because of where we placed our eyes. So I'm going to take my crochet hook and see my top of my eyes are in line. And so I'm going to want this other second eyebrow to start right here. Again, you don't have to do them matching. You could even start the other eyebrow way down here if you wanted. But I just want this guy to be symmetrical. So for this first one, I really did not, I did it crazy on purpose. So I ended it a little above the eye and brought his eyebrow way over here. And that's totally okay and cool. And if that's what you want to do, that will be great. But on this one, I want the eyebrows to match up exactly. So I've put my pin there, and that's where I'm going to start my eyebrow on that side. And I can make a note that the eyebrow does not go over this. It doesn't go above this row right here. So I'm just a little tip of how you can get your eyebrows in line. Just take something long and line them up. So I was trying to sew this direction, and it just was not going as smoothly as this one went, and I think it's because I'm right-handed, so sewing right to left is working much easier than left to right. So I just wanted to quickly show you how I am taking out the stitches, because I don't like how they're turning out at all. So I just clipped my yarn, and I think this will be long enough to use for the eyebrow anyways. So I just clipped my yarn, and I am literally taking the needle and just lifting these up to see what's loose enough for me to, wonder if the first stitch is loose enough. Nope. This is really difficult. I hope that you don't have this frustration. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip it and see if I can pull any from this direction. Here we go. I think this one's loose enough. Nope. You just want to be careful when you're pulling it out, because you don't want this part of the beanie to be damaged. Okay, let's see if I can get this out. So just keep working on it and find out which one's loose enough for you to pull. Because I go through the stitches, they get in there a little bit tighter. Okay. I think this one down here is the first one. It's so hard to find out which one is the first one. It's got to be that one. That's buried. Alright, let's try this. There we go. There's the first stitch right there. Alright, see how I did that? And I just carefully pulled it out. Not that one. Not that one. And because we're working with 3 strands, it can be a little difficult. Alright, I think this one will pull out. Okay, see how I can tell it's going to come out much easier when it's a looser one. And then you will have less damage to your beanie if you have to pull out any details like this, if you're just really careful. So just be really careful if you have to pull anything out so that you don't damage it. And right here we probably will have the eyebrow covering it anyways, but it's just easier to try and not damage your work that you've already done, so that you don't have to redo anything that could, you don't want to have to redo the whole beanie basically. Or every time you look at that spot, you'll be frustrated. Oh, I messed that up so badly because I just wasn't patient. So there you go. So you can see it's a little stretched out right there because I did sew through this one, but I can easily hide that. So I just wanted to show you how to pull it out. And I am going to start on this side of the eyebrow, coming around to the end, and I am really liking how it is turning out. So I just wanted to show you the last couple of stitches that I'm going to do here to turn this eyebrow. And sewing this direction was a million times easier. So if you run into that problem, it is totally worth it to take the yarn out and just start going the other direction. Okay, I'm gonna get my thing out here. So I'm there. I could tell that I was there, but it just doesn't look like the other side because the other side started so horizontally. I'm going to see if I can make it look like it's starting in a more horizontal way. There we go. That looks a lot more like the other side. It needs one more little strand right here. And I'm going to go down just a little further. Just a little bit. And if you see, if your 3 strands are twisting up, just untwist them before you go back down in. And that should keep your little hairs looking straighter. Alright, I think one more and we've got it. What do you think? I think it lines up pretty nicely. I went a little high right there. I think it's not too noticeable. Does it end? It needs one more strand, doesn't it? Just one more. Gotta hold everything back. So I am holding on to this while I'm going, and that's what keeps it from getting too tangled back there. Alright, I'm gonna call it good. I think that is really matching up really nicely. Okay, I will meet you back for the hair. For this guy, we're going to have 3 different greens to be his hair. And when I started with this one, I thought that I was just going to do brown, all brown, because I had originally made an eyebrow that was a block and it was double crochets, and it just didn't look good to me. So I originally had like a block brown eyebrow, and it was just going to be brown hair all over his whole head. But I had the orange and the yellow sitting right next to me, and I thought how fun it would be for him to have multicolor hair. And I really love how the multicolor hair turned out. So in the beginning I just had this brown row, and that's why these ones are placed in there a little randomly. So for this next one, I'm going to do a pattern so that they're mixed up more. So I'll do dark green, neon green, well, forest green, neon green, dark green. So I'm going to do this pattern so that they're a little more mixed up. So, but that's the reason why these are not as mixed up as I would have liked. The bottom ones are because I knew I was switching, but I don't have any brown ones on the bottom. So you just live and learn, I guess. So let's go ahead and attach our first piece of hair. And I'm just going to show you how to do one long one, one medium one, and one short one. That way you can do them on your own. So let's start with the long one. Go ahead and take your 6mm crochet hook, and let's start with this neon green. I just love this color. It is fun. And I'm going to go, so I've got his eyebrow, I'm going to go a couple of stitches over. So let's see, what row is this? Row 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go on to row 4, and you just insert your hook behind the stitch, if I can even do it. So see, insert your stitch behind the stitch, insert your hook behind the stitch, so it should be going through on that side. And get the color of yarn that you're going to be using. And leave a little bit of a tail so that you'll have it for tying off at the end. Pull this yarn, so wrap it around your hook and kind of squeeze it. Pull it through and begin to chain, just like you would do any other foundation chain. 1, we're going to chain 27 for the long ones. 2, 3, 4, I lied, it's 23. I got to 27 and I was like, wow, that is really long. So it's 23. Go ahead and chain 23. Now, when you get to the end of your chain, it should be attached pretty tightly down here, pretty snug. So now you're going to double crochet 2 stitches in every stitch along the hook. You're going to double crochet along 2 double crochets inside every chain. So yarn over and insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You will have 3 on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now back into that same stitch, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I don't know who came up with these curly cues, but they are really cool. So we're going to do that again into this next stitch along. So let me show you which stitch we're on. We're on this stitch right here is our next stitch to go into. Yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch along, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over into the same stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you'll see it's already starting to curl, be a little curly. Into your next stitch, continue that. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Into the same stitch again. Now you're going to continue that pattern of 2 double crochets in every chain along this chain. So do 2 double crochets in every chain along, and when you reach the top of the head, you will have a curly cue. And I did double crochets. You could do half doubles or trebles. This is the thickness I wanted. If you want it thicker, go for a double or a treble or a double treble. If you want it thinner, you can even go all the way to a single crochet. I'm not sure if a slip stitch will work on these. I'll have to get back with you on that. But you could do a single if you want a very thin piece of hair. You could do a half double, or I am doing doubles. I'm coming to the very last stitch right by his head, so my very last chain. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets into that very last chain along. And I'm going to show you how to tie this off. For my other one, I waited to tie them and sew them in to the very end. But I tied them, but I didn't sew them in till the very end. But I'm going to show you how to do all of that. So you can always pull on this tail to get it a little tight too. So I'm going to curl that, make sure it's curling the way I want it. Alright, now we have done 2 double crochets in every chain along all the way to the top of the beanie. Insert your hook into that same spot that you did before to begin your chain. I don't think I got a very good picture of that, so I'm going to show you again. So insert your hook into that, keep that on the, where's the needle here? Insert your hook into the same stitch that you started with. Do a slip stitch into that stitch. Clip your working yarn and pull it through. Alright, now go ahead, and this is the part I told you I did tie all of these together before I moved on to the next step. So tie the tail and what was your working yarn together. I am going to do a triple knot. And then pull, taking your hook, insert your hook down here, pull both of those down into the beanie, and then this is the step you can do at the very end when you have all of the strings, but I will show you how to do it now. Let me just flip it inside out. So what I did was I flipped it inside out so that I had all my strings hanging right here. Trim them so they're the same exact length, just so they're easier to work with. Stick them on the yarn needle. So I did use the big yarn needle for all of these steps today. I didn't use the little guy. It's just easier to get 2 pieces of yarn on this wider eye of the needle. Alright, now to secure it, I just sewed it in to a couple of these, being very careful because you don't want your bright colors peeking through your beanie. That is no fun. Just be careful to go in between the stitches so that you're not getting go in between the stitches so that none of your yarn is poking through to the other side. And if you need to look, just flip it around. See, it is coming through a little bit. So I'm going to clip this and I'm going to see how bad it came through. It's nice to make mistakes because then I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's inside him back the right way. Oh, no, I did okay. So, if you have any poking through, you might want to go through and fix that, or just put another piece of hair there if you don't mind. So, that's how you do the long piece of hair. If you want your hair longer, say you want it touching the beanie, just go ahead and do a longer chain to begin with, so that you'll get a longer curl. Just like if you want a thicker curl, and you can use a different stitch. Now let's do the medium size that I did. I just want to show you exactly what I did so that if you like that look, you can do it. So, because I have my long hair here, I'm going to want a medium one probably right in this area. I wonder if you can see what I'm doing. Because I have my long hair here, I'm going to want a medium right in this area. I am going to go for the really dark color. So I'm just going to insert my hook. Let's see here. Having some struggles. Insert my hook right here. That's where I want it. I'm going to go with the darkest green that I have. And I'm just going to do exactly what we did with the other one. Pull it through and begin to chain up. And see how that's loose? Just pull that and it'll tighten it back down for you. Pull either of these. Alright, so for the medium size, I chained 17. 1, 2, that's probably where I got 27 from, because it was 23, and then I did 17 for the medium one, so in my head I probably switched those numbers from 17 to 27. So, for the medium one, it's 17. Sorry if I'm confusing you. Long one's 23, medium is 17. 1, 2, 3. Just like our long one, we're going to do 2 double crochets in every chain along. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the second chain from the hook, and do a double crochet. And then into that same stitch, we're going to insert a second double crochet. Moving on to the next chain, we'll do 2 double crochets, and continue that all the way along to the top of the head again, the top of the beanie. I'm coming to my last stitch for this curlicue. Yarn over. And then remember, I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter. Then we slip stitch around the stitch of the beanie. Pull and clip your working yarn. Pull it through. And then tie these two together. Get them the same length. Pull them through. And then sew them in at the end. Alright, so there's the second length of the curly. And see how they kind of line up? Kind of exciting. So now I'll show you how to do the short one. For the short one, I really feel like it needs to go right here. So we're going to grab the third color of green that I have chosen, and I'm going to insert my hook. So I'm keeping them about a row apart. One row here, one row here. I'm going to go into this row right here. I'm going to go a little bit forward. So it's kind of right at the top of the eyebrow. So insert your hook into the stitch you're going to be going in. Pull up a loop. That is way too long right there. I don't need that much waste of yarn. Alright. Yarn over. Join up your yarn to that beanie. And this time we're going to chain up 13. 1, 2, 3. Once you have chained up 13, so this is the short one that we're working on, you're going to, again, same process, double crochet into every chain along the foundation chain. Yarn over, insert your hook into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, go down into that same stitch again with a double crochet, and continue 2 double crochets in every chain until you get to the top of the beanie, or the end of your foundation chain, which also meets up with the beanie. I've just come to my last stitch and I went ahead and double crocheted into it. Go ahead and again slip stitch into that same stitch. Clip that yarn. Pull it tight, tie it. Pull it through. And then you can, oh man, that didn't pull through at all. There we go. You can tie them off at the end. Alright, so there are the 3 colors. I really like those colors. So I was thinking it would be kind of fun to have them all short. So even if you want to go only 10, like make chains of 10 and then do the spirals back, that could make them stick up straight. So that would be kind of a fun look. So continue placing your hairs all along your beanie, wherever you want the hairs, in whatever style you want them. And I will see you at the end of this beanie. I'm coming to the end of my hairs, and my son came in and wanted me to add this color to the hairs. It is minty. So I wanted to add it to the eyebrow as well. So I did one, and I'll just show you what I did because I had already finished the eyebrows. So if you want to add another color on there, or you get to doing hair and you add another piece of hair and you think, well, that's going to look funny if there's no eyebrow, that color, you just get one strand of whatever color you want to add, and I actually cut it. So, and then you go ahead and insert it and sew along with the eyebrow hairs that you have already sewn. And you just add in your second color, or third or fourth. This is the fourth color for these eyebrows. So just sew it along, just like you had done it originally. So you can add on if you need to, is all I'm saying. All right. I'm going to finish this eyebrow and then I'll see you in just a second. I feel like he needs a mustache. So I'm going to attempt a mustache to match the colors of his hair. And if it's an epic fail, it's an epic fail. So I'm going to cut a bunch of pieces of yarn about this long. How long is this? 7 inches. 7 to 8 inches long. Alright? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew them on. Well, I don't know if I'm going to sew. I'm going to start right by the nose, because I just cannot see the nose when it's far away. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to tie them on with like a triple knot. And then when I'm done, I'm going to trim them. So I wonder if I could just, let's just try and sew all 3 on at the same time. So I've got all 3 on there. I'm going to put those all right where I put this one right here. Alright. So now what I'm going to do though, I'm going to tie them individually because I don't want them coming loose. I found when I didn't tie them individually, those are the ones that are coming loose down here. So I knew I didn't like that look, but I didn't really know why. But it's because it wasn't getting tight enough. So I'm going to tie them all. And then I'm going to make a bunch of these and tie them to the beanie. Okay, I'll meet you back in just a second. I think it's going to look pretty cool. I'll meet you back in just a second to tell you how many I've cut and where because I'm going to do this stitch and this stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to do this along 12 of the stitches. So these stitches right here, I'm just tying around. So there's 12 of them, and I have 4. I don't know what 4 times 12 is. Let me do the math really fast. I know. Okay, 48. I'm going to cut 48. Well, I'm going to cut 12 of each. 12. So 12 minties, 12 grungies, 12 neons, and 12 forests. And then that will make 48 strings. Plus these 4 that I already have. So 52. I'm so bad at math, you guys. So I'm going to do 52 in total. I want to show you an easy way to cut them all at the same time. So I have all 4 together coming out of my 4 yarn balls. So I have done 3 so far. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Just in case you need a faster way to cut them all. So that's how I'm cutting them all. Let me just say, I think, I'll show it to you upside down. I think it looks cool just like that. If there wasn't a mouth under there, I really like how that looks. So there's just so many possibilities you can do with these, you guys. Alright, so I'm going to trim this and we're going to see if this is a fail or a find? Did we find a cool thing or did we fail? So I'm going to start by trimming these really short. And I don't want any of these fuzzies left over on my beanie. So I'm just going to trim what I can hold. Oh. Alright, let's see. I think I want that even shorter still. Okay. And I don't know if this is going to make the nose any more noticeable or not. I just noticed that the nose was just hidden. It might still be hidden. I think it looks cool though. Okay, I'm going to take a small section right here and go for it. Sorry if I'm blocking you as I'm cutting, blocking the view. Just trying to cut these even. I kind of like these long. That is so funny. Okay. I hope you guys are enjoying these Beastie Beanies as much as I am. I am seriously having a blast. So, I hope that you are having a blast as well. Should I leave them long? Hi. What do you think? Long or short? On the sides. Oh, that one was too short. Let's just pretend these ones are short. I really like it long. I think it's funny. I'll cut a few more of these. I cut this one too short over here. I have to cut that a little shorter to match. And I need some, look at it head on here. That is so funny. Okay, I think that's hilarious. And then you've got his hair. Okay, I'm totally gonna leave it. That's fun. See what I'm saying? You can have so much fun with these. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial for this Beastie Beanie. I hope you are having a blast creating. I would love to see your creations in the comments. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night, whatever time you're watching this. And I will talk to you later. Bye!